So, I need to start this video by finishing this vent because my wife is yelling at me. So, let's go take care of this trim and make this fit.
Your shirt!
What do you...
I like it yesterday!
What do you...
It's alright. I did good. I designed it pretty. Yeah, this is great. No, I need to turn it over here. Stewie,
do
look!
you approve of this?
Look, Stewie, this is you! He's wearing you! Look! He's right there!
Nicholas, like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it, Mom.
Yeah.
You like it?
He's watching the camera.
That's because he's a star.
Aww.
Alright, so that didn't go well. You just throw them in the trash. Okay, I'm done with that. Instead of cheaping out, we just ordered a vent that fit the hole. Makes more sense, doesn't it? So now I got the garage all smoked up. Smells like burnt. Actually, it smells really good. And that burnt wood smells good. But let's go over all the parts I got to put on the Lexus. So I got rear sway bar bushings, rear sway bar links, rear shocks, front sway bar bushings, front sway bar links, one ball joint, the other one has not arrived yet. I got the thermostat and the temperature sensor. I might just go ahead and do that first so we can drop the coolant out and stuff. Stuff I did off of camera that I did not go over with you guys, but I'll show you since I have it up on the lift. First off, I fixed the exhaust leak. This pipe right here was cracked really good. So I took this thing down out, took the heat shield off of it, cut that section out, welded a new section in, which you cannot see because the heat shield covers it up. But this thing's as quiet as can be. Right here is the piece that came out. As you can see, it was kind of rusty and thin-walled right there, and I'd say the forklift finished it off. But yes, that's what I cut out, and I put a section of this thick-walled stuff in. So it's welded in place. The only thing I didn't get is I did one bolt broke in the clamp that goes on the heat shield. So it's not making any noise, but it went around right here, which for being a Southern car, that is a nice thing about this thing. All the exhaust bolts came out. The O2 sensor came directly out, and all these bolts came directly out. I did order I ordered can mufflers, 4-inch tips. I measured. We're gonna have enough room in here for them to fit. I'll weld the hanger on, which I gotta switch these out. They got two rubber, like donut style O-rings on this side, and then two of them on this side that actually have like a spacer in them. So I'm gonna put one of these over here on this side because the way these are made, it does not let this go up too far where it hits, so we're gonna swap them out because this one, it lets it go too far because there's no spacer to hold it down. But I believe leaving the resonators on is gonna be a good choice, just doing mufflers. These are 2 1/4 piping back here. As you can see, I'm looking, our rear didn't leak anymore. Our transmission doesn't look like it leaked anymore, and more oil has leaked down from up in there from me changing my oil, and that's fine. Another thing I did off camera, I gotta put this down on the ground. Okay, so the next thing I did off camera, I know I told you in the past that the cheap touchscreen Android decks were junk. I'm still confirming that they are still junk, but I thought I'm gonna try a non-Android unit. And that was a nightmare to put in, but it works now. So first off, this thing has a factory amplifier, which runs a sub in the back. We had to bypass all that. The sub's not wired right now. Might put an amp in here later so that it pumps, but it was a nightmare. So normally you get a stereo, you get a wiring kit, splice them together, plug it in directly where the radio's at, and everything works. I did that on this, and it did not work. The harness plugged right in, but then I got to looking at the back of it, and a lot of the wires were in pins that didn't have wires in them, and I'm like, well, that ain't gonna have, like, the trigger wire, like a lot of stuff. And after I plugged it in, my AC didn't work. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? So you have to take out this whole section of dash over here. The amplifier is along the wall over there. Unplug the harness out of it, and it has the same two plugs on that end that are over here where the radio plugged in. So you have to strip that harness a little bit so that you can bring those wires over far enough to plug the installation kit in to run into here. So it bypasses the factory amplifier, but it does in fact work. And this is not an Android deck. I paid $57 plus tax, PLS. I do like this stereo, but it's wired in. I'll show you what it looks like. It does not take long at all to load the screen up. Right now, it's already connected to my phone. Very responsive. I have no music playing right now, so it's not showing anything, but this does have the capability to link your phone screen so that your phone screen comes up. I have not successfully got that to work, but the radio seems to work good. I haven't tried USB or the SD card slot. I did with these cheaper touchscreen decks. They normally do not fit the installation kit right. It covers up the screen a little bit. I had to make this work in here, and I had to trim the installation kit out right there in case you want to put an SD card in, because it was covered up. But I think it looks good in there the way it is, and I like the sound output that comes out of it. Not bad. That radio also came with a backup camera, which I have not installed yet. I plan on doing that maybe in this video, maybe not. I don't know what I'm doing yet, whether I'm going to do that. We got to get all the suspension done first. So, because I want to take this out, get it inspected, get it aligned, you know, get all the main things done. Backup camera can come later. Oh, almost forgot. I polished these headlights. Check these puppies out. Alright, so we're going to start this job off. I want to do the rear shocks first, because that's probably going to be the most time-consuming part. Sway bar bushing's not bad. Front ball joint, not that bad. Thermostat and stuff, it's all not that bad. So, I don't know how much of the interior I have to tear apart to get to the top of these shocks. I put this thing up in the... I'm going to put this thing back down on the ground, and I'll find the top of the shock so I can unbolt them from the top. First off, it looks like it got really hot over here. I don't know if it was from exhaust or something. Got very hot over in here and melted some things. As you can see, the tire was like new. There's an old battery there. The tub's in good condition. It's just something. I think there was the exhaust. I'm gonna guess the old exhaust had a hole in it and melted like everything in this area, and you can see the paint is dark over here as opposed to over here. It just melted everything over here. So anyways, there's a tow hook anchor here and a tow hook anchor over there, and you take those out and then you can peel. And there's all supposed to be clips up in here, but they're missing already. As you can see, boom, right there is our top of our shock. And we just got to take those 3 bolts out to take the whole thing out in one piece. So I'm going to loosen these ones up, and then I'll go over and get those ones. Clip is missing over there as well. So we'll get those, and then we can put this thing up and start tearing it apart. ahead and changed my sway bar bushing and sway bar link on this side. Got the shock out. Now I need to tear this apart. I wanted to look on this. As you can see, the rubber is smashed out right there. I wish I had something to replace that with. We might just rotate them. And then as for the top, it's a solid mount. There is no rubber bushing, or that's the bottom. That's the bottom of it. This is the top. I don't know how much pressure's on this. I think I'm just gonna start loosening this and see how much pressure there is, and might have to. We could do the zip tie method. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, where you put a bunch of zip ties around the spring to hold it while you loosen this up. Let me see what kind of tension's on this. This might get dangerous. The way I am going to do this, since I don't have a spring compressor on me, is I'm going to put these in. I'm going to put them in the control arm, and then I'm going to use my jack here to jack up on it to compress the spring, because it's going to compress on that. And then once I get it up in far enough that I can get the nut started, then we should be able to get it in there. Alright, so I'm not even sure if that fixed my issue. It still seems like after I tighten everything up, the suspension is tight. I guess we'll find out. I do want to take the time to appreciate this perfect spare rim. I mean, can we not appreciate that? This is a 1999 wheel. Whether it came off of one or this is a refinished wheel, it looks phenomenal. And then that tread has never seen the road ever, but it was low. I pumped it up. We're gonna roll on 4 lugs on this side because the one lug took all of the threads off. I'm gonna have to order that, but 4 lugs will do me for now. Now, if it was 3, I'd be worried. 4, Hondas run on 4, Lexus can run on 4. That's my philosophy. So I'm gonna get this side done, and I'll show you what it looks like. I only have 1 ball joint. It's for the driver's side. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think I might still have some rattles in the back end. The joint right here where your toe adjustment's at, on both sides, these seem really loose. So that may end up being some of our rattle in the back. We'll see what happens once I get it done. But this ball joint seems to be pretty easy. You have your castle nut here. Breaking this loose is the hardest part to get it off of the knuckle. Then there's 2 bolts there, bolt to the knuckle, and that goes to the steering arm. So got to break that loose and break this loose. And then here are our sway bar links, and there's our bushings. So I'm going to start with doing the ball joint and the sway bar bushings on that side, and that will give you the idea how you do this side. Alright, done. Now for the sway bar bushings on this, you have to remove this bottom tray and these side trays just to get to the bushings itself. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those off camera, and then I'll get back to you and show you what it looks like. Fairly easy. One more home stretch, boys. Okay, so I got one side done, bushing and sway bar length. I'll show you the other one. I have it out. I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so this one's already out. As you can see, I just have to put the bushing in there and put the clamp back up in. Once these trays are off, it's like all wide open. I got one nut off of this, and then my gun wouldn't take this off, so I got a breaker bar to get that off. So let's finish it. I almost forgot the coolant, the thermostat and temperature sensor and all that stuff. So here is the drain. So I'm going to drain this, and while I have the pan off, and we're going to do that. That's all up inside of here. Alright, so most of it is drained out at this point. I'm going to do the temperature sensor. It's at about the same level as the drain, so I'm going to let that continue to drain. Leave the pan here. I'm going to take it out while I have the pan here because it's going to make a mess. I'm also going to move the pan over here whenever I get the thermostat, which is up in here. I don't even know if I got it on video, whatever. But we're going to get this done. The bottom bolt for the thermostat is easier to get from here. The top bolt is easier to get from up top. So I have my ladder here, so I can get up in there and get it from the top. So this is going to continue to drain while I do this, but let's just time lapse this and get it done. Either I got the wrong part or I'm looking at the wrong sensor. First thing you should do is try to plug it in. It does not plug into the harness. The harness is different on this as opposed to what I got. So I'm gonna put that back on, and now I need to figure out if there's another temp sensor on this thing that I'm missing. So let me do some research before. But yeah, this is a green plug. It does not fit. It's a different adapter. So let me see if I'm missing a sensor or if I ordered the wrong thing. Let's see what's going on. The coolant temp sensor I changed out. This is found on the side of the block underneath the intake. Very nice to get to. Not really. It's very hard actually. But if you take the dipstick tube out, as you can see I have laying up here, and you take this one vacuum line off over here, gives you enough room. I don't know if you can see it down in there, but there it is. You can see it. So I'm going to plug that back in. It's on there. Get the dipstick tube back on. Get that vacuum line back on. And put the thermostat in. Okay, so this is the new thermostat. This is the old one. It is a different design altogether. And I can't tell if it's stuck open. I can't tell. It's rusty. The new one obviously looks in better shape than the old one, so hopefully this fixes my issue. So I'm going to throw this in real quick. As you can see, right there's the end of the hose. I just pulled it down out up in there. It's thermostat housing. So let me throw these in, and then we're going to fill her up and go for a drive. So the new one's in. I'm going to clean up this, put the trays on, get it down, put antifreeze in it, and put it all back together. And then we're going to take it out for a drive and see if my suspension parts fix my clunking. I feel like it's still gonna have some rattles, but we'll see what happens. Why are you running out of the frame? Whatever. I took it out for a ride and it rides really nice. So now me and the missus are gonna go for a ride in the Lexus. Come on, let's go for a ride. As you can see, my steering wheel still needs straightened, but there's no rattles. It rides nice. How you like it? Huh? It does ride nice, like a cloud. With stereo. I had the music on. I had to shut it off because I'm not trying to get copyright. But we're just gonna take a nice little ride in this and then go back to the house. My check engine light hasn't come back on, so that's good. And yeah. It's so smooth. Well, we still are getting a insufficient coolant code, insufficient coolant temperature, but my coolant temperature seems to be at a good level. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to monitor that. There is that other temp sensor at the bottom of the radiator. I don't really know which one does which. I replaced the one on the side of the block. So we're gonna have to monitor it and see what happens. But this thing rides so nice, and it'll ride so much better once I get the front end aligned. I'm not sure if Ashley was really impressed with it, but I like it. Well, we are back home. I am just thrilled with the way this thing rides. It's so nice and comfortable. Not sporty at all whatsoever. But the AC works great. The transmission works good. I like the way it shifts better on power mode. It says ECT power when you put it on that. It's more responsive, where if you have it in regular mode, you put the pedal down and it's like you have to really put it down for it to downshift. So I like power mode a little bit better. It's probably how I'll ride it. But yeah, I cleared the coolant light. It hasn't come back on, but it may come back on. So I don't know. We're just gonna have to monitor it and see what happens. I'm gonna take my code reader with me every time I drive it. But there are no clunks and rattles, and I still haven't replaced the passenger side ball joint, but that's not gonna throw my alignment off. So I'm gonna take it and get it inspected this week. Oh, I did put some LEDs in this thing. Not the regular bulbs. I don't have any that fit it. It's the actual, it's like a running light bulb. I did put LEDs in those. It just gives it like a hue. I would love to have all my lights look like that, but we'll have to work on that. This thing looks great. And I haven't even really cleaned it yet. I still need to clean it. So that's going to be the end of this episode. So if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Consider subscribing. Hit that dislike button if you got 99 problems and a ball joints one. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Unwrapped.